Okay, right. So we're looking at now some further questions to do with sine rule. Okay, now we're going to look at a question where we've got to work out the sine. So I'm just going to, hang on a second. Okay, exercise 9, Rayner's sine rule from last week. For those of you who needed some extra help or missed that particular lesson, this is some extra questions that we're looking at. Now, when we do sine rule we say it's going to be A over sine A is equal to B over sine B, and the full rule, I mean, we never use the full rule, we only need to use two parts at any one time, is equal to C over sine C. That's the full rule for this particular question. Now, sine rule is used for non-right angle triangles, and the test of sine rule is, I call it the dumbbell test. I'll show you what I mean by that. I'll use some colors. Now, in this one we have little a and big A. So we already got our label over here anyway, A and big A. So we just do a bit of recording. Okay. So we already got our big A. So opposite the big A is called the little a. So that's the angle. That's its corresponding side. Okay. So we got big B. Opposite little b is little b. And there's a big C for the angle. Opposite big B is little c. That's what we got to work out. So today we have to work out this length over here. So we got to work out the C. That's what we don't know. Let's call little c. Why is it little c? It's little c because it's the corresponding length of the big C. Okay? Now, where possible, if we need to, we need to relabel the diagram. In this case, we don't need to relabel the diagram because A to sine A. So what do we know? I'll show you what we know now. So we know this angle here, which is A. So put a solid circle there. We know the little a over here as well. A solid circle. And then we join them up. I call this the dumbbell technique. So we know the angle and its corresponding length. So that's one complete set of information. So I know my little a and I know the big A. Okay? So that's my dumbbell there. Now, we want to work out the little, which I put as a dotted part of a dumbbell. And I know the big C, which we will call over here. And that's the second set of dumbbells. So I don't know the C, little one, I need to know that. And I know the big C. So what do we have here? So for this moment here, we're going to connect this ratio with that one. So I'm just going to pretend that this part is not here.
Why are you getting rid of that bit?
Because we only need two parts of the ratio. When we're doing sine rule, we need to connect one part to another part. So it can be A's with the B's or the A's with the C's, doesn't matter. Okay? We only use two at any given moment. That's just being complete. So we got, now what situation do we have here? We have the situations called 3 ticks and a cross. So we got 3 ticks and 1 cross. So we know everything apart from one thing. So that's a good situation to be in. So let's copy that situation down over here and let's start working out what we need to work out. So we got A over the sine of A is equal to C over the sine of big C. Remember, that's little c for the side. That's the red one. Now, we said we've got to work out this one, isn't it? Yeah. The little c. So what we need to do now, we need to do a bit of rearranging. So the opposite dividing by sine C is, opposite dividing by sine C, and this side is 2 times. So now we're going to have there you go. So this little c here in the green dotted dumbbell part here is what we're trying to work out. And we know everything else. So all we need to do now, we need to substitute the values in. So big A, what is big, what's little a? Little a is?
57.
No, little a is here.
Oh.
So little a is 8. And what is big C?
42.
42 goes there. What is big A? 57. So where we see the letter now, we literally start substituting and then we're going to work out, this will then help us to work out the value of C. Let's quickly pause it. So now we've got the calculator loaded up. We're going to put this straight into the calculator. We use the fraction button as we see here. So 8 multiplied by the sine of 42. Close the bracket. Come in. So, and then you bring the cursor to the bottom. So sine of 57. So what we see here, we type exactly the same. EX. So what did you get for yours?
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Let's write that down. Okay, well, my calculator is gone. Okay. So I think I won't be able to. Right. The numbers. Have you got the numbers? Have you got these numbers down here? These ones.
Yeah.
Hey, can you read them back? Because when I'm pressing, it'll disappear. Okay, let's go for the answer now. So that gives the C value of.
I'll just turn it off.
Just press answer and
I'll turn the whole thing.
It's okay. I'll bring it over here.
still type answer.
It's okay. I've got it. So answer. Well, my answer in the calculator 6.38277 blah blah blah.
418.
Good. Okay, we're going to round this number off because it's a length to one decimal place. So we stop at the first decimal place. So if you know what we do, we look at this is the decider. That's the last digit.
5 or more.
So the answer, because it's 5 or more, the decider, we add 1 to the last digit. So 6.3 becomes
6.4.
6.4. So 6.4 what? 6.4.
0 meters.
No, that's if you stop there. 6.4 meters. And that's the distance C to one decimal place. In brackets, I'm running out of space at the bottom, so I'll put it over there. So that's our answer for that particular question, as a quick revision of last week's lesson. Okay, that is how we work out a length using sine rule. Sine rule is for non-right angle triangles. It's where we don't use traditionally SOHCAHTOA. This is where we use sine rule. But the technique is the two dumbbells. We have the orange dumbbells here. So I know an angle and I know its corresponds. So that's a complete dumbbell, I call it. And we have this other dumbbell, the green one, where we know the angle, but we need to work out its side. So it gets a dotted dumbbell at the end, yeah? So it's just think of it as, one complete set of information and one incomplete. So I know 3 things and I don't know only one thing. And we can work out that one thing using the sine rule. Okay, I'm now going to clear the page and I'm going to do a question. Not yet. Okay, no, sorry, I'm not going to clear the page. I thought I was going to clear the page. And we're going to you got to copy this down? You should copy this down as well. I'm just going to pause the video here. So that's how the original question comes. We're going to finish off the labeling. So opposite the big C that we got to work out is the little c. And opposite the big B is the little b. Opposite the big A is the little a. At the moment, you can put the little a on there for completeness of diagram. So we finish the labeling at the moment. Now we're going to see what set of information we know. So what we know as a complete set, we know this angle here. Oops, we know this angle here B, and we know its corresponding length little b. So that's one complete dumbbell. That's what we call it. Okay. So that's one complete set of information that we know. Let's change color now. Now we know the little side C, but we need to work out its corresponding angle. So this is the second dumbbell in green. Okay, but it's incomplete. So I know the side, but I need to work out the angle. So this is part that we got to work out. So we have the rule is A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. Now is equal to C over sine C. Whoops, what is that? Okay, and the C is too big on the top anyway. And that just looks like something from the next world. Okay, let's put that back in. So little c and the big C on the bottom. Now, when we do the ratio question, let's use the same colors. So we know little b, we know big B, we know little c, and we know big C. So this is the part of the identity. This is the part of the rule that we're going to use. Oops, sorry. We don't know the big C, so that should be cross. So we've got 3 ticks and 1 cross. So we know everything there apart from just one thing that we don't know. We know everything apart from one thing. So we can now work out that one thing. Now, this is the general way the formula is set out. Because we're working out now an angle, and what we're trying to work out on the bottom over here. Here's what we're trying to work out. It is better for us to flip the formula upside down, as we mentioned last time. So we can rewrite it as, this part gets rewritten right over here. The sine B, when we flip the formula upside down, the sine B comes to the top, the little b goes to the bottom. The sine C comes to the top, and little c comes to the bottom. We can do that. And that makes it very easy now, easier for us to work out the big C. The big C needs to be at the top, not at the bottom, in the circumstance that we got there. Otherwise, there's a lot more moving about. So what did we do here? We turned everything upside down, this part of the formula. Everything on the bottom came to the top, and the top came to the bottom. Now we've got to look at the big C. So what do we do now? We know this, and we know this, but we don't know the angle. Now what we do now, we need to rearrange it. So the opposite of dividing by C is, so we've got little c multiplied by the sine of big B divided by B is equal to the sine of big C. Let's put the C back into red. So color coding stays the same as the big C we're talking about over here. Now, I need to get rid of the sine because I don't want sine C, I want just C. So what's the opposite of sine now? Taking the function sine over.
Sine minus 1.
It comes over to the side, becomes sine minus 1, inverse sine. So we can rewrite it here now as sine to the minus 1 C times by sine of big B divided by little b, close the bracket, is equal to now our C. Now we are in the position where we can start putting in the values. Okay, I've run out of space here and thingy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rub out the letters and put the values in there. So what is the little c? What was the value of little c? Little c is what? 8. So I'm going to write on top of that. Let's write on top of it. You have to do separate place, please, because I'm running out of space. Can you do separately? And big B was?
47.
47. So I'm just going to put 47 here. Okay, that looks a little bit messy. I'm going to go over it in white first and then write 47 to make it look more better. Otherwise, it just looks terrible. And then we have the B in the bottom. The B in the bottom is, what is it? 10. So let me get rid of, let me get back to white. And go back to green. Put the 10 back in. And then it's a matter of putting this into calculator now. The calculator cost. So what we see here, we type it out. Put some calculators out for some of you. If you don't need the calculator, use your own, no problem. Okay, so we press shift. Sine to the minus 1. Okay, the brackets, fraction button, because top and bottom part, 8 multiplied by the sine of 47. Okay, press replay, bring to the bottom, put 10 on the bottom. Oops, 10 as not 11. 10. Replay that to the top, close the bracket. Now, what we got written over here is what we got over here, yes? Happy with that, folks? Press equal. And that gives us now an angle. Okay, well, I'm just going to move my calculator to one side so I got space. So the calculator display is 35.80885.106. And now we're going to round this off to, it's an angle, so just one decimal place would be more than sufficient. We can even do to the nearest whole number as well. So that becomes my last digit. That becomes my decider. Because it's less than 5, we leave everything alone and stop at the last digit. And we put our accuracy. And we have finished that question. Okay. I'm going to give you a chance to copy this question down for those of you who missed it last week. And if you can look at somebody's homework diary who came last week, and let's do some more questions now. So I'm going to give you the questions I want you to try now. I'll write them down here, which questions I want you to try. So, I want one angle question and one length question. So I want you to work out for me question 5. Question 5, I want you to work out for me, please, and I want you to work out question 13. Just 2 questions. Okay, this is a bit of extra practice for those of you who were last week and new practice for the ones who missed last week. Exercise 9. So those of you who got the last week's homework sheet, can you share it with the ones who haven't got it?
Is it this one?
From last week's work, not the one you bought from, the one that you got home.
And that's at home.